Okay, thank you. Kaimara Ramirez. I don't see her in the courtroom. I do see Ms. Woods. Shania Woods. Ms. Woods is approaching in 23 CF 645. I did review her case with her today. We have deposition scheduled in August. I'm going to reach a position hopefully in the next time that we come back. So I'm going to ask for a continuance until September 11th.
Ms. Woods, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Rutherford, Zachariah Rutherford, is before the court in 22 CF 371. He does have two co-defendants. The court's already, I believe, continued his two co-defendants. Mr. Rutherford has a motion to dismiss that has been filed and set for a hearing on August 24th. I believe we're still trying to see if we can resolve the matter ahead of that hearing. I'm going to request a continuance so that we can move forward and have that hearing if we need to.
Okay. Mr. Rutherford, I'll see you here on August 24th. Your underlying case is continued until September 11th at 9.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anna Segafredo. Ms. Segafredo is here in 23 CF 926. We did the pertinent deposition. I'd like to leave it on the trial docket.
Okay. To the state, ready for trial?
Yes, Judge.
So, going to see Ms. Segafredo on Thursday at 9, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then we'll schedule up when it's going to trial either next week or 2 weeks after that. Okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Gregory Seward, followed by Colt Shelton. Gregory Seward's here in 23 CF 119. I believe the state has an announcement.
Judge, at this time, I will be announcing a no problem in the case.
Mr. Siebert, your case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
There's Colt Shelton in the courtroom. William Reed. May I have a moment to call those since because of the lunch break?
Yes, sir.
Nicholas Simmons. Mr. Simmons is approaching in 23 CF 417. Judge, there was some discussion about whether or not mental health court was going to be an appropriate option the last time that we were in court. I don't think that it's going to be. I'm going to request a continuance to complete the depositions we have scheduled in August.
Okay. Mr. Simmons, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9. Thank you, sir.
Nathaniel Sledge. Mitchell Smedley. This is Mr. Sledge. And Judge, we are actually trying to reach an agreement here in 23 CF 973. We've sent reciprocal discovery by way of his marijuana card to the state to see if we can resolve it. This does involve that substance. So I'm going to reach a resolution probably before we come back to court again. If we ask for a continuance until September 11th, I would do so. Understanding that this is something we could probably add on to an earlier docket in August once we get an answer from the state.
Mr. Sledge, I'll see you back here no later than September 11th at 9. If you want to enter a plea before that time, you can avoid 200 or 300 people on Saturday. Thank you.
Mitchell Smedley.
Mr. Smedley.
A similar situation for Mr. Smedley. It's a favorable offer from the state in 23 CF 632 at an adjudication and time served. Given the adjudication in this case, I'm going to ask for a continuance. Mr. Smedley has asked that he provide documentation for me for his medical marijuana card, given that this relates to THC oil, to see if that changes the state's position on a misdemeanor reduction. Whether it does or it doesn't, I believe we'll have an answer, so we're going to have to add this on for an earlier docket for an early plea, but for today I'm asking for a continuance.
Mr. Smedley, I'll see you on September 11th at 9 o'clock, unless your attorney sets a hearing before that day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Brian Stacken. Mr. Stacken is before the court in 23 CF 931. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Stacken will be entering a plea as charged. He will be adjudicated guilty. He will be placed on 12 months of community control with GPS monitoring, and I've included that that's to be set at a standard rate for the GPS monitoring, since I've seen some variance in costs. $150 cost of defense, standard court cost, I believe, Madam Clerk, would be $515 for a failure to register. I would note for the court that this is an agreed upon down departure. The score sheet does reflect 131.8 points, which reflects a 77.8 month Department of Corrections sentence if there were a violation of supervision. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Stratton, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
The reason why I went through that longer colloquy asking the question was 12 months community control. Mr. Kinney's explained to you what that means. Basically house arrest. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stacken, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 12 months community control with a GPS monitor. You need to pay the $150 public defender's fee and the court cost. And you also have to pay the $40 per month cost of supervision. Thank you, Mr. Stacken.
May I call Mason Stepp? Judges, is Mason Stepp before the court in 23 CF 740, so I don't have a conversation at the podium. I'm going to request a continuance and provide contact information to Mr. Stepp so that he can make an appointment to come see me at my office. If we reach an agreement, then I would certainly like to add this onto an earlier docket.
Okay. Mr. Stepp, I'll see you back here September 11th at 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
Nathan Swan. Nathan Swan. Would you like to recall him in a moment, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Glenn Vonkentel. Mr. Vonkentel is here in 23 CF 735. We reached an agreement. The agreement calls for a plea as charged, withheld adjudication of guilt, 12 months of probation, $615 in court cost, and $150 cost of defense. He must complete a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days, begin any recommended treatment within 60 days, and complete 12 hours of community service. Standard cost of supervision. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to 12 months probation. You'll need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee. Submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days from today. If any treatment's recommended, begin that within 60 days from today. perform 12 hours of community service work, and pay the $40 per month cost of supervision. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Probation. Justin Wallen Young, followed by Joel Walls. Judge, this is Mr. Justin Wallen Young before the court at 23 CF 965. We've reached an agreement in this matter. Mr. Wallen Young is going to be entering the plea as charged. For just a moment, we'll state to execute the document. The document calls for adjudication to be withheld, 12 months of probation. The court would reserve over the amount of restitution for 90 days, $615 in court cost, $150 cost of defense. Special conditions would include 12 hours of community service, no trespassing at Dan's Discount Jewelry and Pawn, an anti-theft class, maintain gainful employment, or submit 5 job applications per week. Mr. Wallen Young is currently unemployed. We would ask the court for some amount of time on a waiver of cost of supervision, if the court would so use its discretion in that. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign?
Yes.
Mr. Young, how much money do you make per month?
About 2,000.
Okay. Mr. Young, adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to 12 months probation. The court does award restitution that reserves jurisdiction for 90 days if the state files a motion or a petition.
And Judge, on that issue, I believe the state, in going through the paperwork, may have an amount to announce.
$220 to George Brandt, BRANDT.
Any objection to that, Mr. Young?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Young, so you'll need to pay that $220 in restitution. You will need to pay the $150 public defender's fee, perform 12 hours of community service work, have no trespassing at any Dan's Discount Jewelry and Pawn, enter and successfully complete the anti-theft course, maintain gainful employment, or provide 5 applications per week. I do not, because of the amount of the restitution, I do not waive the cost of supervision, so you'll need to pay that $40 per month.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Joel Walls. Judge, Mr. Walls is before the court in 21 CF 1796. The court last saw Mr. Walls had a motion to suppress hearing. That motion to suppress was denied. We would certainly be preserving that issue for an appeal, as it was a dispositive motion, but procedurally that puts us in a position that we would be on the trial docket. We've completed all the depositions, we filed all the pretrial motions that we possibly can, so we would be on the trial docket.
Okay. Is the state ready to go to trial?
Yes, Judge. We would be anticipating the second trial week because I need to fly in my law enforcement officer for the case.
Okay. So, Mr. Walls, I'll see you on Thursday at 9 o'clock, and then we'll be scheduling up the trial, sounds like for August 7th. Okay? So Thursday at 9.
James Ward. May I recall him, Judge?
Sure.
Miranda Webb. Ms. Webb is approaching in 23 CF 517. We discussed the offer today at the courthouse. The offer is for a lesser included offense and 1 year of probation. Ms. Webb wishes for me to complete depositions in her case. This is the first pretrial. I'm going to request a continuance to complete the depositions, and I would ask the state to leave their offer open until pretrial next cycle.
Okay. Ms. Webb, I will grant the continuance. Just know that last thing that Mr. McKinney just stated. There's case law that says even if the state says today on the record that they'll hold the offer open until September 11th, if they withdraw it, I can't make them re-offer it. Okay?
I understand.
Okay.
Judge, I'm not going to hold it open all the way until September 11th. I'll hold it open until the end of August. If it is accepted at one of the court dates in August, or at least if I get word from Mr. McKinney that the offer has been accepted before August 30th, that would be sufficient.
Okay. So I will see you on September 11th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Jason Willis. Mr. Willis is present in the courtroom in 23 CF 502. And Mr. Willis also has a companion civil case that may be before Your Honor that is approaching settlement. That doesn't impact us directly, but it does impact Mr. Willis's ability to have a stable residence if there is a settlement and dollars that come out of that.
Yes.
I put that on the record because the state's offer to Mr. Willis is a downward departure and 2 years of community control, which would require a residence and all of those things. So Mr. Willis understands that if he does not accept that offer today, then it's up to the state if they leave that offer open or not. Granted that is a downward departure offer that's being made from the state. He has requested that I ask for a continuance, so hopefully that settlement can go through prior to us coming back on September 11th.
Okay, meaning the civil settlement.
Correct.
And what does the score sheet show, Mr. Willis? Just approximately?
58 months, Department of Corrections approximately.
Mr. Willis, the reason why I asked for that is just to make sure that you know that the score sheet showing 68 months in prison, the state's offering you some kind of downward departure. You need to talk to your attorney, figure out what you think's in your best interest. So I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock. If you want to accept the state's offer before that time, Mr. McKinney can set a hearing, okay? Thank you.
Jennifer Wilson. Followed by Antonio Wise.
Hello, Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Wilson is present before the court in 23 CF 424. And at this point, Ms. Wilson wishes to enter a plea of no contest, which would be a plea to the bench and set up for sentencing hearing. May I have a moment, Judge?
Yes, sir.
And Judge, the conversation, so the court's in the loop, is that the current offer to Ms. Wilson is a withhold of adjudication and 1 year of probation. That if we were to enter a plea to the bench, then the adjudication would be at the discretion of the court, as well as the sentence. The maximum potential sentence for a third-degree felony is 5 years in Department of Corrections. Ms. Wilson, in understanding those maximums, has indicated that she wishes to present evidence to Your Honor about what an appropriate sentence would be in her situation related to driving the license suspended. So this would be a plea to the bench without an agreement with the state. Approach.
Yes. So also, if you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand up. Ms. Wilson, are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you ever been treated for any mental illness or emotional disturbance, or are you suffering from any of those at this time?
No.
How far did you go in school?
I have 2 college degrees.
Did you read the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Okay. Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, that you're waiving the right to a trial by jury.
Yes.
Do you understand that you could be sentenced up to the maximum of 5 years in prison?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you into entering the plea?
No.
Has Mr. McKinney or anyone else, this is kind of the opposite of that, has Mr. McKinney or anyone else told you, if you do not enter this plea today, you shall be sentenced to 3 years in prison or any other definite sentence?
No.
So Wilson, the reason why I go through all those things, you sat here all this morning and heard me go through a lot of colloquies. I didn't do that on any of them until yours. And the reason why is, it's a plea straight up, a plea to the bench. I have no idea what I'll sentence you to, but you could be sentenced to prison. That's why I want to make sure that you understand. So you still wish to enter the plea?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson, I do accept your plea. I find that you're alert and intelligent, that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature of the charges against you, and are represented by competent counsel with whom you state you are satisfied. I find that there is a factual basis for acceptance of the plea. When do you want to set the sentencing?
Judge, may we request a second date in August? I think that's going to be August 17th.
Yes, sir.
And can we set that in the afternoon as there may be witnesses?
Okay, August 17th at 2:30.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Wilson, I'll see you then. I'll do my homework, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So it's going to be August 17th at 2:30.
Thank you.
And Antonio Wise. Mr. Wise is here in 23 CF 719. At this time, Mr. Wise wishes to enter a plea. The agreement calls for a plea as charged, an adjudication of guilt, 24 months of community control, GPS monitoring, and that is to be set at the standard rate for GPS monitoring, $150 cost of defense, standard court cost. Madam Clerk, I believe standard court cost for a failure to register is $515.
It'll be the 666.
666. I will go with 667. Mr. Wise would be subject to the cost of supervision. This is a negotiated agreement with the state for an uncoerced plea bargain. The sentencing guideline score sheet shows 169.2 points, which equates to a 105.9-month Department of Corrections sentence if we were standing before the court for a violation of probation. That's not what we're here for here today, but I wanted to make sure we're on the record. Mr. Wise understands the seriousness of the case. So this is 24 months of community control with GPS monitoring and the court costs. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Wise, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You put your hand down. Mr. Wise, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Weiss, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 24 months community control. You'll need to wear a GPS monitor. All monetary assessments mandated by statute or county ordinance are imposed. That's the court cost, $150 public defender's fee, $40 per month cost of supervision. This is a downward departure. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir.
Probation on the way. Stephen Zamora. Mr. Zamora is before the court in 23 CF 1203. A little bit interesting, this case was transferred over from Santa Rosa County because the arrest was in Santa Rosa. I have not received any discovery in the case yet in 23 CF 1203. It's probably because of the nature of how it was opened and why we're still looking for discovery. I am going to request for a continuance. On that basis, once we get discovery, we can start moving forward in the case.
Okay. Mr. Zamora, I'll see you on September 11th at 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
William Zaremba. Mr. Zaremba is before the court in 23 CF 763. Judge of State has made an offer for PTI in this case, which is a PTI period for 10 months with a letter of apology, substance abuse evaluation, and no violent contact with Mr. Gibson. So I would ask for a control date to make sure that that paperwork is entered if we're going to go that route.
Okay. Mr. Zaremba, I'll see you back here unless you accept the pretrial intervention agreement, which is a diversion program. It takes you around this court. If you successfully complete it, then your case is dismissed. So if you don't accept that, then I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock. Also, who's been with you sitting here all day? Excellent. Thank you so much for y'all being here. Family support is really, it's something that is tangible that works. So thank you so much for Mr. Zaremba.
So the next step for Mr. Zaremba will be, once I get the PTI paperwork, I'll reach out to you based on the information that I have, and we'll set a time to meet at the office, go through that paperwork. And if we accept and file that document, then you would not have to appear on the 11th of September because the case would be done. But the next step for you will be to come meet with me after I call you and I have that paperwork in my hand.
Good. Thank you, sir. Good question.
Judge, I've got to speak to a number of individuals in the gallery.
What about the folks on Zoom? You ready for any of them?
I don't know if I have anybody on Zoom. If I do, it's going to be a surprise to me.
Okay. The folks that are on Zoom. Mr. Merkwell, if you'll unmute your microphone. Who represents you?
Yes, sir.
Merkwell?
Scott Clowns.
Okay. Okay, we're going to find Mr. Kleins and we'll bring him in here. Okay, so hold tight. Mr. Garza, who represents you?
Mr. Klein.
Mr. Kleins, okay. Okay. Ms. Ramos, who represents you?
Scott Clowns.
Okay, we're trying to get him back in the courtroom. Whoever's on the iPhone 7, Mr. Kleins is walking in now. Mr. Kleins, you got at least 3 clients
I think I should have 4.
on Zoom,
Yes, sir.
and there are 5 people on there, so you may have 4.
Yes. This is Mr. Alan Morales Ramos, Your Honor. He appears to have some very promising search issues here. He's in the deposition pipeline, and I would ask the court for a 1-cycle continuance here.
Okay, and I'm sorry, that's who?
Mr. Alan Morales Ramos.
Good. Mr. Ramos, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock, okay? Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I know Mr. Garza has been on Zoom since this morning.
Good, okay. Mr. Garza, okay.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Garza Manuel in 22 CF 1591. I did talk with Mr. Gomez, and Mr. Manuel has reached an agreement with the state to resolve this particular case. At this time, Mr. Manuel would enter a no contest plea to the lesser included offense of disorderly conduct. That is a 2nd-degree misdemeanor. Madam Clerk, the statute number there is 877.03. The agreed upon disposition is that Mr. Garza would be sentenced to time served. He would be adjudicated of the misdemeanor. He would be assessed misdemeanor court costs and 150 public defender fees.
Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, I just want to put it on the record, the reason for the moving to the lesser included charge was just the request of the victim. They were not going to be cooperating, so.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Manuel, your last name is Manuel?
No, sir. My last name is Garza. My
Good.
first name is Emmanuel.
Good, thanks, Mr. Garza. Mr. Garza, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, and I'm turning sideways because the microphone's to my right. Mr. Garza, do you understand that if I accept your plea that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what you'll be sentenced to today if I enter the plea?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me or Mr. Kleins or the state?
No, sir.
Mr. Garza, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty of the misdemeanor. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court cost, $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay? About $800.
I'm paying $800.
I think it's misdemeanor court
Oh, it's a
costs.
misdemeanor,
Yes,
so,
270 court costs.
so $400, it'll be about $400 total.
Okay, is there any way we can make arrangements to make all this, or does that have to be all paid at one time?
No, it doesn't have to be paid at one time. I was gonna give you a time to pay it. If I give you 9 months to pay
Okay.
it, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you fail to pay it within 9 months, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
But all the paperwork can be mailed to me?
What I'll do is I'll mail you a copy of the minute sheet.
Okay, sounds good, Mr. Klein.
All right, good luck, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Want to do Mr. Merkel?
Jeremy Merkwa.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Merkwa. I talked to Ms. Barrickman this morning. We were awaiting the report from Dr. McDonald. She sent me an email this morning saying she's waiting on her transcriptionist to get back to her, and she'll let us know as soon as we get it. Once we get that report, the case should be ready to go. I want to go over her findings with Mr. Merkwa, but this will be definitely a plea or trial type situation in the next cycle.
Okay. Mr. Merkel, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock, and then we'll be looking at going to trial that cycle, okay?
And just so Mr. Merkwa is aware, state has reviewed the case, and there is at least one count of transmission to ads, which we be proceeding to trial. He currently scores 48.8 months Department of Corrections.
Okay, so Mr. Merkel, trial next time, and the state saying that they're going to seek prison if the jury finds him guilty. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Judge, we'll be looking into adding additional counts.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Merkel. Stay in touch with Mr. Kleins.
Thank you.
And last I have, Your Honor, on Zoom is Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, can you start your video and unmute your mic? Good. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, this is Yerlin Martinez Echeverria. He is in similar situation. I had a couple clients this morning. Case is ready for trial. However, he needs to listen to these depositions. I need to have a meeting with him. Yerlin, I need you to make arrangements to come to my office physically because we need to go over this evidence and I need to have a discussion with you on how you want to proceed. As you currently are charged and as you score, you're looking at a minimum 3 years in prison and a sex offender designation. So I know it's going to be a hassle to come up here, but we're talking about the next couple of years of your life at least. So I need between now and September 11th, you need to make a meeting with my assistant, and you need to keep that meeting so that we can go over this evidence. Because as far as I'm concerned, the case is ready for trial. I'm asking the court for one cycle continuance just to give you a chance to review the evidence to decide how you want to proceed.
Mr. Kleins.
Yes, sir.
Your client's last name is what?
It's Martinez. I have it on my file as Martinez Echeverria.
So with an M?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Martinez Echeverria, just really important, you've got to meet with your attorney. If you fail to do that, then I'm going to ask Mr. Kleins if you did meet with him when I talked to him on September 11th. If he says no, then I very well may revoke your bond and they hold you in jail. So make sure that you make an appointment with Mr. Kleins and attend that appointment well before September 11th at 9 o'clock, okay? And I'm scheduling to go to trial that cycle. So I'll see you on September 11th at 9. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I believe that's all I have on Zoom.
Okay, and the telephone, nope, we've got the phone number going in and out. See if we can bring them back. Well, their phone's not locking up. Mr. Klein, do you have anyone else here today?
I have Devin Morales.
Okay, thank you.
And he is signing the plea agreement right now, Your Honor.
Whoever's on the iPhone 7, if you'll take it off mute and tell me what your name is. Whoever's on the iPhone 7, if you'll take it off mute.
Oh, Kareem Singleton?
Great, thank you. We'll get with you right after this. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Singleton.
Your Honor, this is Devin Morales, 22 CF 2511. We have reached an agreement to resolve this. At this time, Mr. Morales is going to be entering a no contest plea on count 1. That's possession of a controlled substance. In exchange for the plea, the state is going to null cross count 2, driving on a suspended license. On count 1, Mr. Morales is going to be placed on 2 years of probation, pay $610 in court costs, $150 in public defender fees, and there would be a withholding adjudication, and Mr. Gomez will get the score sheet to the court.
Okay,
May I
thank you.
approach?
Yes, sir. Mr.
Your Honor,
Morales.
I just wanted to put it on the record, the reason why the state is dismissing count 2 is because Mr. Morales arrived in court today with a valid driver's license, and we just want to make sure that we commend that type of behavior, sir.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Morales, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Morales, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you sign it?
Yes.
Mr. Morales, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to 2 years probation on count 1. Count 2 is dismissed. You'll need to pay the court cost, $150 public defender's fee, $40 per month cost of supervision. Anything else from Mr. Morales?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I do have one question.
Please.
As a pretrial condition, I was made to surrender my rifle. How would I go about getting my rifle back?
Ask Mr. Kleins if he wants to file a motion for you to return that.
Right. Normally what we can do is have the rifle released to somebody else's custody. As a rule of probation, even though you're not being convicted of a felony, you're not allowed to have weapons while you're on probation. So that doesn't hinder your future ownership.
That's fine. I just, want to get it back into my family's.
Absolutely. Call my office and okay.
Good question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Talk to them before we leave.
Mr. Singleton,
Yes, sir.
who represents you?
Attorney Jason McKinney.
Okay. Mr. McKinney's out of the courtroom, but we're going to go get him.
Okay.
Mr. McKinney, Mr. Singleton's on.
Kareem Singleton?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Singleton lives out of state, is my understanding. And he is here in 23 CF 610. There is a withholding probation offer relating to restitution in this matter. That's something that I would need to discuss with Mr. Singleton. So I'm going to request a continuance to do that. Mr. Singleton can set up a phone appointment to discuss it with me, even if he's out of state. Mr. Singleton, do you have my phone number?
Yes.
Okay, you would need to schedule a phone appointment with me so that we can discuss where we're going with your case.
Okay.
So, Mr. Singleton, if you don't resolve it before September 11th at 9 o'clock, I'll see you then, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McKinney?
Judge, may I call Nathan Swan?
Sure.
Mr. Swan's now in the courtroom. He's here in 23 CF 598. We do not have an agreement today. We do need to set depositions in August. We're going to request a continuance to do so.
Mr. Swan, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9. Stay in touch with Mr. McKinney.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Jordan Wims. Mr. Wims is approaching in 23 CF 817. I would note for the record that the state has provided an offer of a withholding adjudication and 2 years of probation. It doesn't look like Mr. Wims has any criminal history. I believe, unless that's something that Mr. Wims would consider and wishes to discuss in the courtroom, that we would need to continue the case until the September 11th court date so that we can meet and review the discovery together.
Mr. Wims, you want to continue your case?
I'd like to continue.
Okay, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9. If you want to enter a plea before that, let Mr. McKinney know and we can set a hearing in August. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ross, will you call them ready to jump off? Jeffrey Ross? Jeffrey Ross is here in 2 cases, 23 CF 75 and 23 CF 346. I have to have a chance to go through the discovery. I don't know if I've gotten everything yet. I'm going to move forward and set depositions in the 75 case. And I'd like to schedule a time with Mr. Ross to go through that once I receive it.
So, Mr. Ross, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Rios Penalosa, Elisa Rios Penalosa is before the court in 23 CF 318. And Judge, there is a probation offer. In this case, we're going to have to reset a deposition of an officer who didn't appear at the last round of depositions. So we were unable to resolve it today. So I'm going to request a continuance to set that deposition of Deputy Langer because that's the last piece of the puzzle before we can say either we're going to enter a plea or go to trial.
Okay. I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9, okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Peter Webb, followed by Mr. Thompson. Judge, this is Peter Webb before the court in 23 CF 1023. I conveyed the state's offer of 120 days Okaloosa County Jail. I'm going to request a continuance. Mr. Webb has indicated that he wishes to talk to me about that further based on our discussion in the courtroom today.
Okay. Mr. Webb, I'll see you on September 11th at 9. Is this going to be a trial next time?
I would say so, Judge. I believe we'd be able to have this ready to go if we need to be, or if we reach an agreement ahead of that court date. I believe we could add this on to an earlier date.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thanks, Mr. Winky.
Mr. Thompson?
Oh, Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson provided me his medical card while he was here in the courtroom in 23 CF 950. This case relates to THC, so I'm going to request a continuance so I can send that documentation to the state to see if that impacts the plea negotiations.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, I'll see you back here on September 11th at 9 o'clock. Did you watch that movie?
Air movie?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
We were talking about it this weekend, some friends, and talking about how good it was, and I said it should be, the focus should be Michael Jordan's mom, because she did a heck of a job in that, so. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Judge, this is Michael Ross. I recognized him. I believe he's represented by Ms. Jaquette with RCC. I don't know if this case was called earlier or not.
Okay, let's see. Mr. Ross, I issued a capias for you, so.
Sir, it's been so.
Okay, hold on, I don't want you to say anything that may hurt your case, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Jacobs not still in the building, is she?
She is not.
Okay.
Judge, I asked that the case be set for Thursday. This has been hanging around since last September.
Okay.
Was the arrest date?
Okay, so I'm withdrawing the capias, Mr. Ross, so they won't arrest you. I'll see you back here on Thursday at 9 o'clock. Be here early. Okay?
I will be here early, yes, sir.
I'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I have a hearing.
Good. Mr. McPike.
Mr. McPike is present and approaching, Your Honor. He has reached an agreement to resolve this. At this time, Mr. McPike will enter a no contest plea as charged. The agreed upon dispositions that he will be sentenced to time served. He assessed $615 in court costs, $150 in public defender fees. He's previously been adjudicated and he'll be adjudicated in this case. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. McPike, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. McPike, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McPike, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to time served. You need to pay the court costs, $150 for defender's fees. How long will it take you to pay that money?
I'm hoping, you can give me a year, but I'm hoping I can pay it off within a few months.
Yes, sir. If you fail to pay it within 1 year, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment. Okay, civil, not criminal. Thank you, sir.
Mr. McPike, over here. Your Honor, can we get Smith, Glenn Smith?
I haven't looked at the inmate list, Judge, so I'm just going to go with whoever comes out the door.
Me too.
So this is Mr. Smith before the court. Mr. Smith has 2 cases, 22 CF 1956, and he has an additional case. We've been trying to reach an agreement for a probationary sentence. There's been discussions back and forth about treatment programs. Ms. Sandler is the prosecutor on this case. We do not have an agreement this second in time. This isn't on the trial docket. I'm going to request a continuance until September 11th so that we can complete the depositions we have scheduled in August. Given that we've got hands on this and we're trying to resolve it, certainly I want to add this on to an earlier court date in August if we're able to reach an agreement that all parties are okay with.
Okay. Mr. Smith, you understand what Mr. McKinney's doing on your case?
Yes.
So he'll have those depositions between now and September 11th. If the state offers you something that you want to accept before September 11th, I'll see you then.
We don't have that today. We're still based on what we talked about yesterday, we're still trying to get this out. We get that as an adequate.
All right, Mr. Smith, this one. Next is Troutman. Open the floor.
Well, Mr. Troutman.
Judge, Mr. Troutman is before the court in 23 CF 623 and 21 CF 2285. I met with Mr. Troutman yesterday at the jail, but I do have an updated offer, if I could have it just a second.
Yes, sir.
Judge, Mr. Troutman, so the court is privy to the conversation that we were having on some level. There's been a conversation on whether or not Mr. Troutman would agree to Phoenix House. He's approved for that program. The state has effectively offered him that program today. Mr. Troutman asked me, well, what about Keaton 2, to make sure that he's exploring all his options. I don't know if the state would make that same offer or agreement if it were Keaton over Phoenix House.
No, we want Phoenix House.
Judge, can we pass this over to Thursday with the state will keep that offer open until Thursday for me to have a discussion with Mr. Troutman?
We'll keep the offer open until Thursday.
Mr. Troutman, I'll see you Thursday morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Michelle Loa.
Your Honor, this is Ms. Glowa. She's got two cases, 21 CF 1190, 21 CF 663. We have been able to confirm some of the information that Ms. Glowa gave us last time I talked with her. All I can do at this point is ask for one cycle continuance from Ms. Glowa to see if we can continue. There's still some people we need to talk to. And just so Ms. Glowa is aware, she does have a new charge in county court. I have again asked the state attorney's office if they would consider stipulating to reducing that to a signature bond on the misdemeanor case. Both Ms. Berrickman and Mr. Gomez have indicated that they will not agree to stipulate that. My understanding is that's already set for a hearing on July 31st in county court, so all I can do is advise Ms. Glowa to good luck on the 31st. And I have already reached out to Mr. Leonard and let him know that if possible, see maybe we can get a resolution.
He said that he was going to set a bond reduction during the meeting that posted.
Okay, well,
May I ask the courts why I still can't get a bond reduction to marijuana?
because this judge, these two cases in front of Judge Brown have not had their bonds revoked. That is a first appearance bond that was set by your presiding judge in the county court case. So if you are asking a county court judge to reduce a bond, and especially the judge that set the bond, Judge Schlechter set the bond, he's the presiding judge, you're going to have to ask Judge Schlechter to reduce the bond, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay, so is Judge Brown not capable to give me a bond reduction?
There has been a lot of recent cases that go back and forth, and it says that a first appearance judge, a duty judge, somebody that does first appearance, cannot void can't do no bond on someone else's case unless it's their case for a violation of probation. So I'd be real sensitive about trying to touch some other judge's bond. And again, that's his case, that's not my case. So as far as Ms. Glowa's felony cases, they're both 2021 cases?
They're both PTI recalls.
Okay.
Yes.
And when did those come back?
So they came back, let's say late April, early May, Ms. Gloa.
Of this year?
Of this year,
Okay,
correct,
good.
correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, they're not brand new cases.
Okay, so you're seeking a continuance on the phone?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Glover, I'll see you back here no later than September 11th. If you want to accept a plea from the state, if you think it's in your best interest, then Mr. Collins can set it for that date. If not, any reason not to say trial that next
I
cycle?
don't believe so.
Okay, so then we'll be going to trial. Thank you, ma'am.
Next is not the attorney.
Judge, this is Ms. Turnage before the court. Ms. Turnage is here in 23 CF 237. Judge, my conversations with the state would be that this is going to be merged with her Walton case, which means that she would no longer be prosecuted in Okaloosa County. I don't want to put words in the state's mouth here, but I believe that that's where we're going.
Yes, Judge. This was a continuing crime between Walton and Okaloosa County. The arrest happened in Okaloosa County, but it really started in Walton County. So at this point, the state's going to make the decision to merge this case with the charges that are going forward in Walton County.
Okay. And Ms. Turnage has already appeared in front of the first appearance judge over there?
She is not.
Okay. So they're going to have to file a new case?
So
Or she's been held over here and that's why she hadn't appeared?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Correct. So after that paperwork goes through, my discussion with Ms. Turnage is going to be that she's going to Walton County, she's going to go through first appearance, and then go from there in Walton County.
And at first appearance, they will appoint a public defender to represent you. If they don't say, I appoint you an attorney, say, wait a minute, Judge. You can say, you can blame it on me. Judge Brown said you'd give me an attorney, okay? So I'm just going to continue your case here until September 11th, just to make sure it doesn't totally fall off my radar. But since this case will be merged to Walton County, it should leave Okaloosa County and go there, okay?
So
But you'll have a new judge and you'll get a new attorney.
you're not going to have to wait on September 11th.
Right.
I'm assuming it's going to go through quickly. As soon as that happens, then Walton County will get you. It's not going to be week to week. You should be able to have it on the next.
Thanks, Ms. Turner.
Next is Angela Watson.
Judge, this is Ms. Watson before the court in 23 CF 722. We've reached an agreement in this case. Ms. Watson has reviewed and signed a plea agreement. The plea agreement contemplates a plea to count 2 as charged. It is a first-degree misdemeanor. Count 1 will be dismissed by the state. In exchange, there will be an adjudication of guilt on a misdemeanor to 12 months drug offender probation with a standard curfew. Special conditions will include mental health evaluation and any recommended treatment. No contact with Brandon Holbrook. Common spelling. $270 in court cost, $150 cost of defense. Ms. Watson must take all medications as prescribed. Ms. Watson is going to ask me, well, what about the misdemeanor court date that I have coming up in August for the misdemeanor cases? I've discussed that with the state. The state has indicated they're not in a position to resolve those cases today, but I'm going to lean on the misdemeanor attorneys in court as quickly as possible because that was going to be holding Ms. Watson in jail. And I know that she doesn't want to be on misdemeanor probation and felony probation at the same time. So I'm going to...
I'll do that if I can.
We can't do that right here, right now in front of this judge. That's something I'm going to have to lean on the misdemeanor attorneys to do since we can't resolve it right here, right now, this second. But we can go forward with the agreement for this case. Okay. Any approach?
Yes, sir. Listen, Ms. Watson, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Ms. Watson, I know that you wanted to get out today. That misdemeanor case apparently is keeping you in. Did you read this plea agreement?
Yes, sir, I'm wondering, so I thought they're dropping the felony, so why do I have to be on felony probation?
The concern there is normally I would say JCS is our option. The specific terms of this plea agreement for them, and like we discussed for the drug offender probation, that would have to be state probation because JCS doesn't supervise drug offender probation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Is there any way that you can, get me in as quickly as possible or something for
for the
the?
misdemeanor court?
Yes, sir.
I'll certainly try. Absent the state agreeing to do something on that today, because this is not usually scheduled in front of this judge for misdemeanors like we had talked about.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
But
wow.
I've spent 3.5 months, I can't get time served on the criminal mischief.
It's not my case, that's the misdemeanor, the county judge's case. So
Oh,
they'll
I
have to make
thought
that
that's what's
determination.
on that form. I thought you're dropping the felony and the criminal mischief on that form is a misdemeanor.
Correct. So, the misdemeanor VOPs, that stuff is not included in that agreement that we went through. That's only the misdemeanor that you need placed on the 1-year probation for.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So you have a separate misdemeanor case, right?
Correct.
Okay, it's not criminal mischief.
Correct.
It's on
She has a
just-
misdemeanor violation of probation.
Okay. So you got a violation of probation case in county court, and that's what you'll have to handle in front of the county judge. Okay?
Okay, so I just spent another month.
I don't know how soon you'll get in front of that county judge.
I want to make sure that they're aware of it and see if they can move on it as quickly as possible. Misdemeanors can do stuff in writing, whereas we can't in felony court. So that's something that we're moving at the speed of the attorneys there. Best I can do is lean on them to try to resolve it quickly.
All right.
That's what,
That's one
so
thing
you
I
still,
appreciate it.
you still want to enter the felony plea? I mean, it'll be to a misdemeanor, but it's in a felony case.
Yes, sir. So I completed that misdemeanor?
Yes, ma'am. You raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. So, Ms. Watson, did you read this plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir. I have a hard time understanding a lot of stuff. I'm mentally incapacitated, and I need to be cracked, and I need to get out and go to a doctor. But
So, Ms.
I mean, I
Watson,
hallucinate, and they won't give me the right medication.
okay, knowing that, if I accept this plea, what are you going to be sentenced to?
12 months of felony probation. They have curfews on it, 7 to 7.
Okay, so the drug offender probation.
Yes, sir.
Has Mr. McKinney talked to you about what the terms of that are? 7 to 7 curfew, and what
Yes,
else
sir.
that entails?
Yes, sir. Having a mental health evaluation and all that stuff.
Okay, good. Ms. Watson, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 12 months drug offender probation. You have the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew. You'll need to submit to a mental health evaluation. If any treatment's recommended, you'll have to start that within 60 days, the mental health evaluation within 30 days, but it's after you're released from the jail. You'll have no contact with, it's Brandon
Holbrook?
Holden.
I lost my apartment and everything else, so I can't contact those people.
Yes. You'll need to take all medications as prescribed. You will need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee. That's on count 2. Count 1 is dismissed. Ms. Watson, how much money do you make per month when you're not in jail?
$914.
Okay, I do waive the cost of supervision, okay? So you won't have to pay that. Ms. Watson, I wish you the best. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Perrin.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Perrin at 23 CF 900. I did speak with Mr. Gomez this morning. I have not received the score sheet. I have been informed by Mr. Gomez that Mr. Perrin scores 17.1 months in the Department of Corrections. So I know Mr. Gomez is going to be getting me the score sheet. I did propose a 3-year probation offer to Mr. Gomez. I don't know if the state's willing to accept that unless I'm wrong. So I think all I can do is ask to continue this one cycle. We do need to take that position for the case.
And Mr. Gomez, you're not interested in accepting that offer?
No, at this time, Your Honor.
Is it Perrin or Perrin? Perrin. Mr. Perrin, I'll see you back here no later than September 11th. It'll be in the afternoon. If you want to set a hearing before that date, then Mr. Kleins can do that. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jones is the next one. Matthew Johnson. This is Matthew Jones.
No, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones is here in 21 CF 1620, 21 CF 1324. When Your Honor saw Mr. Jones on Zoom, we were trying to nail down the restitution amounts from one of the victims in the case. We did nail down that restitution amount, and I have an offer form from the state that shows 1129 with a restitution amount of $779.33. Mr. Jones has been incarcerated on a Walton County case. He's been in Washington CI, which is why these are 21 CF cases. I'm unsure at this point in the conversation whether or not the state would be willing to consider some of the time that he spent in fashioning the sentence for Mr. Jones today, and whether or not they would take that into consideration as far as time served, or whether or not the state would offer Mr. Jones some amount of probation, given that he's been incarcerated.
Judge, my understanding is we were moving forward with probation in the case, because based on the restitution request that I had received from the victims.
Well, I guess, do we want to put this on the 20th to try to put that together, or Judge, if we could come back on the 20th, not for on the trial docket, but in an effort to try to resolve this for Mr. Jones.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand, because I wrote down 1129. I was thinking it was jail. 1129 is probation.
That was the original 1129 jail offer, but given that Mr. Jones has been served in a DOC sentence,
Gotcha.
we're asking the state to take that into consideration.
Okay, and the state's going to contemplate that between now and Thursday. Right?
We had just gotten documentation from the victim, I think, at the beginning of last week, that I forwarded to Mr. McKinney of the amount that they were actually out for restitution.
Okay.
So that's what we've been back and forth last week about it a few times.
Mr. Jones, I just didn't, if the state is offering you probation, I wanted to talk about it a lot more today. They aren't.
And I just don't want it to go all the way to September. If it's something we can put hands on and resolve on the 20th.
I'll see you on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brett Phillips, John.
I'm sorry, who?
Mr. Phillips. Brett Phillips.
Brett Phillips.
Judge, Mr. Phillips is here in 21 CF 2485. I discussed this at length with Mr. Phillips yesterday at the jail. I've discussed some of his concerns with the state related to the score sheet. That's put us in his position, and certainly state, if I misspeak here, I want to be corrected. That I believe that we're in a position that if Mr. Phillips were to enter a plea of no contest as charged, the offer from the state would be 56.4 months Department of Corrections, followed by 8 years of probation. Would be the basic framework of the terms here. I would need to reduce this to a written plea agreement, and I believe to comply with Marcy's law, we would need to probably enter the plea today for this to be sentenced to be imposed at a later date in August, so that the state has the ability to have a witness testify in the courtroom and comply with Marcy's law.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. McKinney, I believe we had discussed the score sheet issue, and it would be 56.4 with those amendments, but it would still be the 60 months DOC. I would come down to the 60, but I would not come down to 56.4 guideline.
60 months.
Educate the court on Marcy's law. If Mr. Phillips entered a plea and he had a negotiated term,
Judge,
then just before I enter the sentence, Marcy's law has to be complied with, and they don't have to be present today.
Judge, we have not been able to reach them since we did depositions. We could certainly subpoena them, but part of the issue, may I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Stay right here, okay?
At 482 North Wilston Street in historic downtown Crestview, just 1 block from the courthouse. We open at 10 a.m. with amazing lunch specials until 2 p.m., serving incredible burgers, wings, sandwiches, and appetizers. Join us for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Wanda Roberts. For the last 20 years, I've been helping the residents of Northwest Florida buy and sell their properties. My office is just 1 block south of the courthouse in historic downtown Crestview. Give us a call at 850-398-5389.
Alex Barthay from the UPS store once again, and I wanted to let you know about our Sunday hours. We're open now 7 days a week. Normal hours that you've been expecting, but now we're open Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 3, and it's both our Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, and Eglin Air Force Base locations. So you have things to do, go and do it. Just know the UPS store is going to be here. Again, Sundays 10 until 3 p.m.
Hello, I am Bonnie from Body Be Healthy here in Crestview. We have been serving the area since 1999. We're an alternative health food store. If you're interested in bettering your health, we'd like to invite you to stop by. We're located in Fort Plaza. Stop by and let us help you be healthy.
Yeah, just to put the ones on.
So, Mr. Phillips, all of that being said, I think that your attorney's going to send back the plea agreement with you, and then I'll see you later this afternoon. Michael Rice. Okay, and then if we have to take her, there's a mid-afternoon break. Michael Rice.
Judge, this is Mr. Rice before the court in 23 CF 580 and 23 CF 582. This is not on your Honor's trial docket, but in trying to put together all the moving pieces for an agreement, I'd like to come back on the 20th if the court would allow. because we don't have an agreement to enter with Your Honor right now, given that Mr. Rice has moving pieces between a hold for Walton County and a sentence that he's already served for Santa Rosa County involving some of the same people and incidents. We're hoping to try to bring this to a resolution. We certainly haven't had time with the state to fully get to that position. I think that we can get an answer before we come back on the 20th.
Mr. Rice, I'll see you on Thursday.
3 days. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a 10-minute recess and then we'll come back and finish up the afternoon.
All rise. We're in recess.
Dixie Dan Powell works tirelessly for his clients, as is evident by this extraordinary verdict. If you're taking your case to trial, be prepared. Contact Dixie Dan Powell and Powell Injury Law, 850-306-2667.
Hello, this is Chris Norman at Bulldog Bail Bonds. Our office is in Crestview, Florida, but we service 7 Northwest Florida counties. If you ever find yourself in a jam, please give us a call. We're here to help you out.
For more than 70 years, the sweet aroma of the Crestview Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs has permeated the downtown area. If you have not experienced the unique flavor of Crestview's Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs, then I encourage you to join us for lunch. Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., Friday from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., and Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We're located in historic downtown Crestview at 107 North Main Street. Call 850-683-1045. Days Tire Pros makes buying tires simpler. They offer a straightforward approach to tire and auto service that includes nationwide warranties, a hassle-free experience, and a great selection of Michelin tires. No matter what you drive or where you have driven, Michelin has a tire to fit any need. Visit our store in Crestview or online at daystirepros.com. Tire Pros love the drive.
Hey, I'm David at Family Vision of Crestview. We've been providing excellent optical service for Northwest Florida for over 34 years. Come in and let us take care of you.
This is Tiffany Woodham, State Farm's newest agent in Crestview. I'd like to personally invite you to stop by my office for a no-cost policy review. Let me help you start saving today. Call in, walk in, or click in at yourcrestview.agent.com.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer since 1999. We're state licensed and insured, family owned and operated with 24 years of local service. We specialize in shingles and metal, re-roofs, repairs, and leak specialists. For all of your roofing needs, call us today or visit our website at cqroofing.com. CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer.
Hi, I'm Amanda Gaskin with Briar Patch Realty. Helping qualifying heroes save money is my passion. When I help a hero buy or sell a home, they receive a check from Homes for Heroes. Check out amandasheroes.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Michael Gilbert, defense attorney with Warrior Law. I represent those accused in Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton County. If you or anyone you know has been accused of a crime, give us a call. We can help.
Back Home Bakery Cafe is 2 blocks from the courthouse on Crestview's historic Main Street. We serve handmade pastries, espresso, and lunch items, and we're open Tuesday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., serving lunch from 11 to 2. We hope to see you soon.
Fat Boy's Juicy Beef and Tasty Bird is located at 482 North Wilston Street in historic downtown Crestview, just 1 block from the courthouse. We open at 10 a.m. with amazing lunch specials until 2 p.m., serving incredible burgers, wings, sandwiches, and appetizers. Join us for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Wanda Roberts. For the last 20 years, I've been helping the residents of Northwest Florida buy and sell their properties. My office is just 1 block south of the courthouse in historic downtown Crestview. Give us a call at 850-398-5389.
Alex Barthay from the UPS store once again, and I wanted to let you know about our Sunday hours. We're open now 7 days a week. Normal hours that you've been expecting, but now we're open Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 3, and it's both our Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, and Eglin Air Force Base locations. So you have things to do, go and do it. Just know the UPS store is going to be here. Again, Sundays 10 until 3 p.m.
Hello, I am Bonnie from Body Be Healthy here in Crestview. We have been serving the area since 1999. We're an alternative health food store. If you're interested in bettering your health, we'd like to invite you to stop by. We're located in Court Plaza. Stop by and let us help you be healthy.
Congratulations, Crestview's very own Dixie Dan Powell of Powell Injury Law, for your recent jury verdict of $11.5 million for your client from a death and injury against an inflatable amusement company. Recognized in 2017 as one of the top 100 civil trial lawyers in the state of Florida, and Dixie is AV Preeminent rated. Dixie Dan Powell works tirelessly for his clients, as is evident by this extraordinary verdict. If you're taking your case to trial, be prepared. Contact Dixie Dan Powell and Powell Injury Law, 850-306-2667.
Hello, this is Chris Norman at Bulldog Bail Bonds. Our office is in Crestview, Florida, but we service 7 Northwest Florida counties. If you ever find yourself in a jam, please give us a call. We're here to help you out.
For more than 70 years, the sweet aroma of the Crestview's Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs has permeated the downtown area. If you have not experienced the unique flavor of Crestview's Coney Islands burgers and hot dogs, then I encourage you to join us for lunch. Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., Friday from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., and Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We're located in historic downtown Crestview at 107 North Main Street. Call 850-683-1045. Days Tire Pros makes buying tires simpler. They offer a straightforward approach to tire and auto service that includes nationwide warranties, a hassle-free experience, and a great selection of Michelin tires. No matter what you drive or where you have driven, Michelin has a tire to fit any need. Visit our store in Crestview or online at daystirepros.com. Tire Pros love the drive.
Hey, I'm David at Family Vision of Crestview. We've been providing excellent optical service for Northwest Florida for over 34 years. Come in and let us take care of you.
This is Tiffany Woodham, State Farm's newest agent in Crestview. I'd like to personally invite you to stop by my office for a no-cost policy review. Let me help you start saving today. Call in, walk in, or click in at yourcrestviewagent.com.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer since 1999. We're state licensed and insured, family owned and operated with 24 years of local service. We specialize in shingles and metal, re-roofs, repairs, and leak specialists. For all of your roofing needs, call us today or visit our website at cqroofing.com. CQ Roofing, your hometown roofer.
Hi, I'm Amanda Gaskin with Prech Realty. Helping qualifying heroes save money is my passion. When I help a hero buy or sell a home, they receive a check from Homes for Heroes. Check out amandasheroes.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Michael Gilbert, defense attorney with Warrior Law. I represent those accused in Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton County. If you or anyone you know has been accused of a crime, give us a call. We can help.
Back Home Bakery Cafe is 2 blocks from the courthouse on Crestview's historic Main Street. We serve handmade pastries, espresso, and lunch items, and we're open Tuesday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., serving lunch from 11 to 2. We hope to see you soon.
Fat Boy's Juicy Beef and Tasty Bird is located at 482 North Wilston Street in historic downtown Crestview, just 1 block from the courthouse. We open at 10 a.m. with amazing lunch specials until 2 p.m., serving incredible burgers, wings, sandwiches, and appetizers. Join us for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Wanda Roberts. For the last 20 years, I've been helping the residents of Northwest Florida buy and sell their properties. My office is just 1 block south of the courthouse in historic downtown Crestview. Give us a call at 850-398-5389.
Alex Barthay from the UPS store once again, and I wanted to let you know about our Sunday hours. We're open now 7 days a week. Normal hours that you've been expecting, but now we're open Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 3, and it's both our Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, and Eglin Air Force Base locations. So you have things to do, go and do it. Just know the UPS store is going to be here. Again, Sundays 10 until 3 p.m.
Hello, I am Bonnie from...
You need to pay the court costs $150 public defender's fee on the VOP case. In both of these cases, you're adjudicated guilty. In the VOP case, you're sentenced to 6 months in Okaloosa County Jail with credit for all time served. Your prior supervision to remote terminated. You need to pay the $100 cost of prosecution, $100 public defender's fee in that case. How long do you want to pay for the financials before they go to a civil lien after you get out of jail?
30 days.
I'm sorry?
30 days.
Sure. Okay. No, that's not more than $100. $615.
6 months, please.
You got it. So if you fail to pay it within 6 months, then we'll go to a civil lien or judgment. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Riggs.
Next is Johnny Santiago.
Thank you.
If we may pause for just a second, I believe his wife is in the hallway.
Good.
Thanks, Board. Would you please, sir? She's been here all day. Judge, this is Mr. Johnny Santiago Jr., 23 CF 1031. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Santiago is going to be entering pleading counts 2, 3, and 4, which are misdemeanors only. Count 1 will be dismissed. He will be adjudicated guilty. There will be $622 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approve for that plea agreement to Mr.
Time,
Gonzalez?
sir. What's?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Santiago, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Santiago, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Santiago, I do accept your plea. Count 1 is dismissed. You're adjudicated guilty of the misdemeanors. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay that?
6 months.
Okay. If you fail to pay it, then, I'm sorry.
I was going to do a payment plan.
Yes, sir. You can talk to the clerk about that. If you fail to pay it within 6 months, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment. Okay. Now you get to turn and see your child. Thank you so much for being here for Mr. Santiago. And you'll get out today as soon as they can do the paperwork.
Next is Herbert Smith.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Judge, this is Mr. Schmidt before the court in 22 CF 416. This is on the trial docket. I just conveyed the offer again to Mr. Schmidt, and he's asked if he could talk to me briefly in the attorney-client room. Can I have a chance to do that before we call him back today?
Do we have other folks that Mr. McKinney is not representing?
I don't know who you represent.
There will be a break at some point for Mr. Collins. I think that's a few. But Mr. Schmidt has a question, or wants to have one last discussion with me before making a decision.
Okay, yes, sir. So, Mr. Schmidt, I'll see you a little later this afternoon, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna call him.
Eric Smithwick.
Yeah, this is Mr. Smithwick before the court. He's here in 22 CF 680 at pre-trial over video. I believe we had announced this, said we're wanting to go to trial on it. There's been discussion with the court about experts for several cycles now. And after we announced that on Monday, I learned from the state's witness that our expert has in fact gone out and done the work that we asked him to do, just hasn't reported it to me. So that makes me scratch my head on whether or not I can reasonably stand up and say that we're ready for trial when we don't know what our own expert, who has done the work we've asked him to do, is going to say. I've discussed that with Mr. Smithwick at length, and we both share frustrations in how that goes. I'm going to ask for one continuance until the September 11th court date, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to try to get an answer from our expert over in Tallahassee. But I think that that's necessary, given that we've opened that door and he's actually done the work that we've asked him to do. I just don't have an answer on what that is.
To the state.
Judge, due to the circumstances, we don't have an objection to the continuance.
Okay. Mr. Smith, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here on September 11th. We'll definitely be looking at going to trial that cycle.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Antonio Swain.
Yeah, just as Mr. Swain before the court, Mr. Attorney Swain has 22 CF 1589. And this was announced that we were ready for trial. And the state had made record that if Mr. Swain did not accept the 7-year minimum mandatory sentence, which is the offer, that the state would be seeking to amend the information. If the information is amended to the current weight on the FDLE lab results, then that would indicate that Mr. Swain would be facing a 25-year minimum mandatory sentence. Certainly don't say those things to scare Mr. Swain, but I wanted to make very clear what our situation is. And I've discussed that at length with Mr. Swain. At this point, the state has not agreed to any counteroffers, but the offer from the state would be the 7 years minimum mandatory if Mr. Swain were to enter a plea as it's charged. But I believe that would be an expiration of today if Mr. Swain did not accept it.
Is that accurate to the state?
Yes, Your Honor, that is accurate.
Mr. Swain, do you want to go to trial or do you want to accept the state's offer? I don't know what that means. Which one?
That's perfectly fine. Stand over here.
So you want to go to trial?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, am I going to bring back Mr. Swain on Thursday and we schedule it when?
Mr. Swain has 22 CF 1589 and a felony violation of probation and 15 CF 2207.
Judge, most likely we'll be scheduling the violation of probation and 15 CF 2207 before the trial in 1589.
So do you want to schedule that via email?
We can, Judge. I'd like to make the formal amended charges for the 25-year minimum, and he can be arraigned on Thursday for that.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Swain, I'll see you on Thursday, and then we'll be scheduling up the violation of probation, basically a judge trial. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I'll see you on the 20th in 3 days.
Next is Matthew Talley.
Mr. Talley is approaching in 22 CF 1551. When we signed this plea agreement yesterday, there was a blank for cost of transportation. That amount is $385.42. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, will you initial it right here? And Judge, the agreement here is for a plea as charged, credit for time served, restitution in the amount of $1,500 to Laura Middleton, that is common spelling, $515 in court cost, $150 cost of defense, and the $385.42 cost of transportation. To the state, is that to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office? Or is that to?
The cost of transportation.
Yeah. That would be payable to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office for the cost of transportation.
And the adjudication?
He would be adjudicated guilty. May I have a
Thank you, yes, sir.
And it would be 867.
867? Because of the settlement that was made? The settlement agreement are $867 per cost?
No, but because of the statute number, it would get a 201 and 151, which would just add to the 515 felony, so altogether.
I understand there's a difference in cost. I believe we wrote in the $867 which matter, which is the appropriate number. Okay. Yeah. Does that change your willingness to enter the plea?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Talley, if you'll raise your right hand and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Talley, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, the court cost one more time is how much?
Altogether, it'd be 867.
867. Okay, so it's $867 in court cost, not the $515. Do you still wish to enter the plea?
No, sir. Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
I'm just asking, as Mr. McKinney just stated, he got the amount wrong. He said $515 in court cost. Clerk says it's 867.
Oh, yes.
That would be the only change to the plea agreement. Do you still want to enter the plea?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Talley, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the $1,500 in restitution. The court costs $150 public defender's fee, $385.42 cost of transportation. If you fail to pay those within 1 year from today, then they will go to a civil lien or judgment. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
So, Mr. Talley, next is Gordon Taylor. And you have an address for the victim?
Oh, Mr. Taylor.
Hello. I'm looking at something that's not related to your case. The address that I have for Ms. Littleton, and state, correct me if you have a better address, is 112 County Road, 295, Jemison, spelled Jemison, Alabama, 35085. Judge, this is Mr. Gordon Taylor before the court. In 22 CF 54, there are 2 violations of probation that are tracking along pending sentencing. The pertinent conversation for today is that we remain ready for trial in 22 CF 54. The state has made no amended offers for us to discuss on the record. So we would be in a position to be on the trial docket and come back in 3 days for jury trial review for scheduling.
Okay. Is there any offer to Mr. Taylor that the state intends to withdraw today?
Anything open? I don't believe that we have anything at this point because we've already went through the process of the violations of probation. So from my recollection, there is no current offer. I would entertain something if the defense had a counter offer, but that would only be for Thursday, as the state has already sent out subpoenas for trial and highly anticipates trial, hopefully even the end of next week.
Okay. So Mr. Taylor, I'll see you on Thursday. If you want to make an offer to the state, then you can. If you don't want to, then we'll be going to trial, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Next is Michael Dennis.
Thank you.
Is there? Judge, this is Mr. Tennis before the court in 23 CF 933, 22 CF 2555. Did you have a chance to read this? I know that I just handed it to you. Judge, and I just handed Mr. Tennis this plea agreement, and so he's just now seeing the numbers for 21.525 months DOC. I believe that that's going to be our agreement. Would the state leave that open until the 20th for me to review this with Mr. Tennis at the jail? He's asking me a credit question that I don't want to answer on the spot related to his other case.
Yeah, we'll keep it open until Thursday.
Okay. If it isn't accepted on Thursday, we're going to trial.
No, you're
I
not.
don't anticipate a trial in this case. It's just working out the numbers.
He's currently has a Department of Corrections sentence in another case, so his question relates to that, and I don't have it directly in front of me. So I would like to research that and answer his question before we come back on the 20th.
Mr. Dennis, I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Take this with you.
Next
That's
is
not
Robert
gonna change.
Lettersby.
Oh.
Oh, Mr. Weathersby. Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Judge, this is Mr. Weathersby before the court in 22 CF 2782. We'd announced this on the trial docket. We're actively trying to resolve this matter for Mr. Weathersby. We don't have the opportunity to do that in court today, but we're going to keep hands on it and see if we can resolve it as we come into court on the 20th. The court will allow.
Okay, so we're going to trial if it's not settled on Thursday?
Yes, Your Honor. From the defense perspective, we've done all the work we intend to do on the case. We're actively trying to go through this. I know that there was a little bit of a stumbling block on both sides, and that we didn't have a score sheet to work off of that we're trying to put together. And that's not Ms. Davis's fault. But we're trying to come to an agreement for a reduction of charges based on the depositions we've already completed. If that totally falls apart, then yes, at some point I'd like to be on the trial docket. So I want it so that there's a backstop to this. But I believe that we'll be in a position to likely resolve it when we come back.
Ms. Davis?
Yeah. I don't anticipate sending out subpoenas on this case. Okay. I don't think that we're at that point in my feelings of the negotiations between the defense and the state. So just for the court's edification, I don't truly anticipate this being a trial in this cycle.
Okay.
I really think we're close.
Thank you. Mr. Weathersby, I'll see you on Thursday.
All right.
Thank you.
Next is advice of order.
Judge, this is Mr. Isaac Witter before the court in 23 CF 327 and 22 CF 2504. Have any questions about what's on paper? You'll get credit for all time, sir. But we've discussed what that means as far as different. We've discussed what that means as far as your cases and which ones have more credit than the others. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions? Okay, so you do decide to take it. You have a chance to read this, sir. Judge, we've reached an agreement for Mr. Woodard. We did discuss this at length at the jail, and he is executing a document at this time in 23 CF 327 and 22 CF 2504. The agreement contemplates a plea as charged, an admission to the violation of probation, a concurrent 22.5 months Department of Corrections, that's with adjudications on all counts, that will revoke and terminate his probation. It would be $615 in court costs, $100 VOP fee, total of $250 cost of defense. He would get credit for all time served.
And adjudication of guilt, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Mr. Woodard, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
If you put your hand up, Mr. Woodard, are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you ever been treated for any mental illness or emotional disturbance, or are you suffering from any of those at this time?
No.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated.
From high school?
Yeah.
Good. Did you read the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Woodard, and they just have wood on the style of the case.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Okay. Mr. Woodard, has Mr. McKinney or anyone else told you that if you do not enter the plea today, that you shall be sentenced to 3 years in prison or any other definite sentence?
No.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you into entering the plea?
No.
Mr. Woodard, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. Your prior supervision is revoked and terminated. All monetary assessments mandated by statute or county ordinance are imposed. That's the court cost on the new case, $100 cost of prosecution in the VOP case, total of $250 public defender's fee. You're sentenced to 22.5 months with the Department of Corrections, and that's with credit for all time served, and that's to run concurrently. At the same time, between each felony count, you're sentenced to time served on your misdemeanor counts. Mr. Woodard, you do have 30 days to appeal this judgment and sentence. If you wish to appeal, it must be in writing. If you cannot afford an attorney to represent you for that appeal, one may be appointed for you. Do you understand your appellate rights?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Woodard. Next, you just
Just have them right.
Judge, this is Mr. Chasm Wright before the court in 23 CF 618. Mr. Wright is incarcerated now because he's got some misdemeanors that he's in jail on. And if I might have 1 minute with the Madam Prosecutor to see if we can resolve this today.
Yes,
Because we had contemplated potentially entering a plea to probation in 23 CF 618 for a resolution that included a credit for time served agreement on the misdemeanor cases. If the court would stipulate to this court's jurisdiction for those. But that's something that, because Mr. Wright was recently arrested for those misdemeanors, is a bit of it's in process. Yes.
23 and then 1827.
23 and then
2827. One battery and one system. And then 23 and then 2.11. What's the violation? 23 what?
That's the only place I have to live.
Because there's no contact provision. Judge, without a written plea agreement, does the court wish for me to announce where we're at?
please.
Mr. Wright has 23 CF 618, and the intention would be to enter a plea as charged for a withhold of adjudication, 2 years of probation. That would include no contact with either victim, no trespass at their residence. That's something that if they sought to amend or modify that by contacting probation, I believe that that's allowable, but for today it would be no contact. No trespass at the victim's residence. No alcohol, random breath testing, anger management course. Standard court costs. Madam Clerk, is that the $867?
Yes.
And $150 cost of defense. In exchange for that plea, I believe the state in 23 MM 1827, which is a 2-count misdemeanor case, battery and resisting without violence, and 23 MM 2311, a violation of pretrial conditions, would be time served, no probation, and standard court costs.
Would there also be a public defender's fee in those cases?
Yes, Your Honor, but it would be the misdemeanor amount, which I believe is $50.
So $50 times 2?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Wright, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can put your hand out. So, Mr. Wright, here's what I understand, is that if you want to enter the plea, you'd be waiving your right to trials by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you'd be sentenced to 2 years probation in the felony count, time served in the misdemeanor count, and then with those additional provisions, enter and successfully complete anger management, have no alcohol, submit to random breath tests, no trespassing at the residences of the alleged victims, no contact with the 2 alleged victims.
It's a victim and a witness, just to be clear, Judge.
Ma'am?
It's a victim and a witness, just
Okay, just
make
make
sure
sure
we're
we're
clear.
clear. Thank you.
Yes.
You have a total of $150 public defender's fee in the felony case, $50 public defender's fee in each of the misdemeanor cases, and then court costs in all 3 of the cases. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me or your attorney?
So I just get the probation tomorrow, I'll get the paper.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You need to go to probation tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I do accept your plea. Your adjudication is withheld. Sentenced to 2 years probation in the felony count. Time served in the misdemeanor counts. Public defender's fees are $250. $40 per month cost of supervision. All monetary assessments mandated by statute or county ordinance are imposed. That's the court cost. You need to enter and successfully complete the anger management class. Have no alcohol, submit to random breath test. No trespass at the victim or witness's home. Have no contact with the victim or witness. What have I missed anything?
Judge, just making sure it's clear on the record that the time served is in 23 MM 827 and 23 MM 2311. And we stipulate to this court's jurisdiction to handle those misdemeanors.
Yes, sir.
And are those an adjudication of guilt?
There's an adjudication of guilt and time served.
For Madam Clerk, it's the victim is Richard Steffes, Steffes, and the witness is Alicia Steffes, Alysha. They live at 16 Cinderella Lane Northwest in Fort Walton Beach.
And just for the record, it is an adjudication of guilt on the misdemeanors. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Next is Wendell Wright.
Judge, this is Mr. Wendell Wright. Mr. Wendell Wright is before the court in 21 CF 1776, 20 CF 3187, 21 CF 1772, and 20 CF 2804. If Your Honor remembers, this case was set on the trial docket last time. There was information provided to the state right before trial. We did do an additional deposition. We reviewed the additional discovery provided by the state. At this point in time, is there an offer to Mr. Wright in any of the 4 case numbers I've just announced?
No, there's not.
Without an offer on the record, Judge, I believe that Mr. Wright would be in a position to either plead to the bench or to go forward towards trial. And I believe that if Mr. Wright elected to move forward towards trial, then the state would be seeking to try 21 CF 1776 first.
That's correct, Judge. The anticipation is trial will begin on next Monday, the 24th.
Okay.
Judge, Mr. Wright's question to me as counsel is, Judge, if I want to represent myself, what words do I use or how do I address the court? Obviously, any attorney in the room is going to say you need to have an attorney if you're going to trial. I know that that's my advice to Mr. Wright, but I'm always going to allow Mr. Wright to say whatever he wants in the courtroom.
Mr. Wright, if you want to represent yourself, you need to do that in writing, and then we can have a hearing on Thursday about it.
Right, I would say that's what I was going to ask you, Judge Brown. Can I get some time to prepare for a Nelson Ferretti hearing motion? The Ferretti hearing is a pro se motion, correct?
Yes, sir. We can have the hearing on Thursday, and then if I don't grant it, then we'll be going to trial the next Monday. If I do grant it, then obviously, unless you want to go to trial next Monday, then we continue to be representing yourself.
No.
Judge, we are very much against a continuance. Even if Mr. Wright decides to represent himself, this case has been prepared for trial. It was ready to go last cycle. This case has been pending for 2 years now.
And I think I just read in a Florida Law Weekly that if if a client files to represent themselves to delay, then the court can deny that motion.
No, our allegation would be at that point that it is a tactic for delay.
Understand. So, Mr. Wright, I can't say that you won't be going to trial a week from today in either event. I'll rule on that on Thursday. If Mr. McKinney's still representing me, then we'll be going to trial a week from today. Just know that if you're representing yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll continue your trial. As I just stated to the state, recently I read a case that talked about a defendant coming up right before trial and saying, I want to represent myself, I want a continuance. And the trial court said no, and it went up on appeal, and the appellate court said no. If that's the purpose is for a delay, then the court doesn't have to grant that. I'll figure all that in Thursday, but I just want you to know that, okay?
Okay, so will I still put the same grounds about the Nelson hearing that we had? Because that's really my reasoning.
Yeah, whatever reasons you have for it, yes, sir.
Okay.
You'll put those in writing. Mr. McKinney, can he get those to you, and you provide those to the state and the court?
I can certainly do so, Judge.
Okay.
And he will be back to court on the 20th.
On Thursday?
On Thursday.
Yes, sir.
So at minimum, if he provides something in writing, he would need to bring it with him on the 20th if he doesn't have it when I meet with him ahead of the 20th.
That's true.
Okay. If not, I'll have it prepared, but I'll see me until that.
Of course. Okay.
All right.
Good.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. See you Thursday in the afternoon, okay? At 1:30, right? Yes, ma'am. Your review at 2. Not at 9.
Okay.
Right. Allison, who's that?
Last is McKinney's Smithwick.
What's that?
Smithwick.
We already saw Mr. Smith, right? Well, we need to receive Mr. Schmidt. And,
It's the last one we have.
Judge, if we could recall Mr. Phillips, I know that we were trying to call.
You didn't say anything about Phillips.
And before we start pulling him around, Judge, I know that Mr. Phillips wanted to talk to me in the attorney-client room. I believe if we bring him back on the 20th, I could go to jail and answer his last-minute questions about entering the plea. This was the gentleman who would be entering the plea and would be setting off the imposition of sentence until August anyhow. So I believe that would be an acceptable approach.
So Phillips Thursday at 9?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, and then Schmidt.
I need to speak with him for 5 minutes. I believe that.
While we're doing that, Madam Clerk, I know I've got some files that you probably have questions about.
So if you want to meet with them in the attorney-client room?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. And we'll ask Madam Clerk who she's got from Mr. Client.
Okay, so for Cameron Boswell, an order to continue was only filed until one of his cases.
Okay, while we're already asked for to continue the second case.
Yes, sir. That case is continued on Boswell.
Yes. I have Weston Paul Johns.
So Mr. Johns is, Mr. McKinney alluded to this.
I cannot get Mr. Sawicki on the phone. I can't leave a message. His voicemail is full. Mr. Johns is the individual we've been trying to arrange the expert back in the spring. Mr. McKinney and I had somebody that was willing to do it, and then he stopped responding to our phone calls. And so we're back to trying to get in touch with Mr. Sawicki. I'm to the point now where I'm just going to try to find a different expert entirely. I can't continue stringing this along, hoping I catch this guy on the phone. So I'm asking the court. Mr. Johns has been a model client in terms of constantly being in touch with me. He is looking at a potential, I think the minimum guideline sentence right now is in the neighborhood of 20 years, 22 years. I would ask the court for a one-cycle continuance. If I can't show any proof or anything to the court in September, then it is what it is, and we'll go to trial.
Any objection from the state?
No objection. And Mr. Kleins, I would just note, as we saw with Mr. McKinney's clients, Mr. Sawicki did go and review some evidence on some cases. You might want to provide a list to OCS of
I'm fully,
work on.
me and Mr. McKinney talked about that last week. I'm fully aware that he went and didn't even inform him that he'd been and done some work for Mr. McKinney, so.
Continued one cycle.
Thank you.
I have Jesse Wayne Lacoste.
So with Mr. Lacoste, we had filed a waiver. I have filed a motion to withdraw as his attorney based on the bond that he posted. And I have discussed and explained this to Mr. Lacoste. I believe that is set for a hearing this Thursday afternoon. So Mr. Lacoste will appear by Zoom to fill the court in on his finances and where this came from. So I would ask the court for a one-cycle continuance pending resolution of the motion to withdraw here.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Brandon Keith Landis.
So he has a pending case with CAC. The case that I believe is on today's docket is the new case that we were unaware of. I think we filed a waiver this morning for Mr. Landis for that. He's in custody. So I would ask for a one-cycle continuance for Mr. Landis.
Yes, sir. It's continued.
Helen Renee Lee.
I actually have a signed plea to a misdemeanor felony pledge.
Yes, sir. Please. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, I wrote the statute. I should have wrote the statute on there. If not,
Anthony Gerson Neva Argueta.
he's in custody. If Madam Clerk can indicate that he's in custody, he wasn't transported today.
I could shed a light on him. He is in custody. The problem was his name was backwards, so when we looked him up with the double last name, it was not, he didn't show in jail.
Transporting for Thursday morning?
I'm actually trying to go see him tomorrow afternoon. I don't want to clutter up the court's docket. This is a relatively new case. I mainly wanted to keep him on today's docket so I can explain to him what's going on. I'll leave it up to the court. If you want to have him here on Thursday, that's great. If not,
if you're waiving his appearance and move for continuance?
Yes, I'll waive his appearance today and ask for a one-cycle continuance.
Yes, sir. So that's continued, so he's not on the docket for Thursday. Mr. Kleins, if he has any problems and you want to set him for Thursday, please do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Leslie Patricia
Lucchese.
Yeah.
This is the one that Mr. Dudley and Mr. Gomez were talking about, the 831 deposition, so I'd ask for a one-cycle continuance, but we're going to coordinate on that deposition.
What's the last name?
It's Lucchese, like the Lucchese from.
Yes, sir. Right. It's continued one cycle.
Jonathan Derek Lane.
We filed a waiver for Mr. Lynn. This is a fentanyl trafficking case. This is his first time up. I've already got depositions in the pipeline from Mr. Lynn, so I'd ask for 1 second.
It's continued.
Amanda Jane Martin.
I have the to a misdemeanor from Ms. Martin. If I may approach. No, I wrote the statute number on there. It's please.
Thank you, sir.
David Edward Mayo.
Mayo, Mr. Mayo was continued by order last week.
Nolan Castillo Menardo.
I believe that case was no cross. Right.
Michelle Denise Mixon.
Ms. Mixon was present. She's actually the first person I talked to when I walked in. Her mother was at Walton Medical at the time, pending immediate transfer to Pensacola, so I excused her because I talked to her. She's a PTI case, and I know Mr. Gomez is trying to get some PTI agreements to me. I would ask for a 1-cycle continuance, but I do expect this to be resolved in August.
Yes, sir, it's continued.
Okay. Ashley Marie Swan.
I have had no contact with Ms. Swan.
State request a KP issue.
KPS will be issued for Ms. Swan, and the first appearance judge will determine upon. Yes, ma'am.
Danny Hayes Neal.
So I talked to Mr. Neal on Friday. This morning, he called my office and informed my assistant that he was out sick. So we did file a waiver this morning. This is a PTI case also. But I would ask for a 1-cycle continuance. Expect this to be resolved in August.
Yes, sir.
Scott Allen Neal.
He was continued by order late last week.
Roderick.
No, you need to pronounce the middle name.
Earl Metrius.
Thank you.
Robert Nolan.
Yeah.
I believe we filed a waiver for Mr. Nolan. We're going to depose an officer in that particular case. I had a meeting with him last week in my office. So I would ask for the 1-cycle continuance.
It's continued.
Crystal Owen.
We can leave Ms. Owen on for your trial for Thursday. This is a pay and dismiss that we're just trying to.
Well, I finally got that. Like literally, as we were in court, we finally got from Circle K a specific address. So I will definitely make sure to send that to you. Okay. It's fine. That's been a headache. That was a headache.
Arnold Leroy Panel.
So we're waiting to hear back from the state. Mr. Pinnell has suffered some medical setbacks, and we're trying to modify the PTI. But we want to leave him on Thursday's docket for status. Okay.
Anthony Glenn Patterson.
So I actually, when the court was canceled last week, Your Honor, I updated my motion to continue. We do have a specific deposition date scheduled for September 1st. I would ask for a 1-cycle continuance.
Yes, sir.
Lottie Akbar Katan.
I have had no contact with Mr. Patton.
State request a KP issue.
KPS will be issued for Mr. Patton in the first appearance.
Kevin Supri Ponte.
Mr. Ponte's case, he's in custody, but he was continued last week.
Candace Lee Price.
I've had no contact with Ms. Price.
State request a KP issue.
KPS will be issued for Ms. Price. First appearance.
Emmanuel Dwayne Pryor Jr.
That was continued by order last week, I believe.
I think that's it.
Okay.
You don't have anything in the latter half of the alphabet, right?
I do not.
Okay, then that's all I have.
You want to go get an ETA for this week?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Greg. Private counsel?
With War Friedman, Tyler I don't know how to say that last
I think there was a motion to continue.
Yeah.
I think there was a motion to continue at the end of last week.
The attorney name is brief.
Tallahassee.
Huh?
The attorney is out of Tallahassee.
And that may have been one that I denied because it didn't have any substance to it.
There's no motion or order in the case.
Okay. Then let's set it for Thursday at 9.
With Bradley Johnson, Brian B. Howard.
We got one Mr. Johnson on the phone.
Johnson.
Any input on Brian Howard from the state and Bradley Johnson?
My understanding from Ms. Sandler was that it was going to be continued.
Okay.
I have the same understanding.
I haven't seen a motion in order, or at least I didn't draft one, I don't believe. There weren't any motions for continuance left in my queue as a lunch today. So let's set it for status at 9 on Thursday.
With Gillis E. Powell III, Long, Shell.
Status, there was one file here.
There was.
But that's cool. That wasn't Gillis? I think it was. He covered for other people.
I wasn't sure which Powell it was.
We should set it for status on Thursday.
Okay.
And with Tony, Miguel, and Santa Maria.
Same time, 9 o'clock on Thursday.
That's all I have for the private attorneys. The rest are.
Mr. Clemens?
Mr. McKinney said he's finishing up doing that right now. But I was just telling Mr. Gunner earlier though, in terms of Mr. Phillips, I know everybody likes to try to get on the second trial week. I'm more than happy to go to the first trial week with Mr. Phillips, subject to me getting that Thursday.
And I'll try to have an answer for that on Thursday, Your Honor. We sent out subs last week just in anticipation of the couple of cases that we knew would be set. I need to wait back to hear on victim availability and witness availability before I can say. I wouldn't have a problem going Wednesday or Friday, but just before I commit to that.
Good, thank you. Just think about how many lawyer members you want. I'll get that on Thursday.
I would imagine 22.
Yeah.
So I'll go get an update from Mr.
Why don't you just go get Mr.
I'll do that.
Hello, I am Bonnie from Body Be Healthy here in Crestview. We have been serving the area since 1999. We're an alternative health food store. If you're interested in bettering your health, we'd like to invite you to stop by. We're located in Court Plaza. Stop by and let us help you be healthy.
Congratulations, Crestview's very own Dixie Dan Powell of Powell Injury Law, for your recent jury verdict of $11.5 million for your client from a death and injury against an inflatable amusement company. Recognized in 2017 as one of the top 100 civil trial lawyers in the
Well, this is Mr. Herbert Schmidt back before the court. And we and Mr. Schmidt have spent an extensive amount of time at the county jail discussing the case prior to today. We've discussed it here at the courthouse here today. In 22 CF 416, this is on the trial docket. Mr. Schmidt would be accepting the state's offer of 24 months. Department of Corrections in count 1. Counts 2, 3, and 4 would be dismissed by the state in exchange for a plea to count 1. That would, in the conversation that I wanted to make sure we had again related to Mr. Schmidt's sexual offender status, because that would designate Mr. Schmidt as a sexual offender. The 24 months Department of Corrections sentence with the adjudication of guilt would be followed by 7 years of state probation. To the state, are there any terms and conditions related to the probation?
Yes, there would be a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. adjustable by probation. Court costs would be $515 plus the $151 crimes against minors. Public defender fee. No unsupervised contact with minors. Sex offender designation and any other statutory requirements, including sex offender counseling and treatment. Forfeit and seize devices. No internet cable devices.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what?
No internet cable devices. And GPS.
And that including GPS monitoring and no internet capable devices. Mr. Schmidt would certainly be able to still have a cell phone.
Basic cell phone.
Do you understand that? Yeah. You would be able to have a regular phone. That would be a specific problem. Now, I discussed this at the jail with Mr. Schmidt Jr. yesterday, and I started trying to write a plea agreement to satisfy reducing all that to writing. Does the court wish for me to continue writing the plea agreement, or does the court wish to have a colloquy with Mr. Schmidt?
I don't want to do this orally, that's for sure.
I don't either, Judge.
Either we can take a break and come back and finish it today, or we can do it Thursday.
I would be happy to meet with Mr. Schmidt one more time and to do this on Thursday with the intention that this is going to be the plea agreement. That way I answer all of his last minute questions, given that there's a lot of moving pieces, that the state is allowable to do that.
And then if it's not settled on Thursday, then we go to trial?
This is going to be settled on Thursday for those terms. We would enter the plea right now, but we want to make sure that Mr. Schmidt's questions are answered and we reduce it all to writing.
Good. Mr. Schmidt, just a lot of different things going on there, so I do want it in writing, okay? So I'll see you Thursday. Should we do it Thursday afternoon?
Whatever's easiest for the court.
Morning or afternoon? Okay, how about 2:30 on Thursday afternoon?
Mr. McKinney, do you have a copy of the score sheet?
This reflects just the one count?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Schmidt, I'll see you on Thursday afternoon.
So let me try to cobble that together and we'll type it out, and then we'll sit down and we'll go through it at the can, and then we'll come back and we'll go Thursday. Okay. Yes, sir.
Kurt has some
Yes, sir. There's a lot of waiver cases. So I'll let Madam Clerk call it.
So on TV is Rashad Mosley.
Mr. Hunsley is in the Walton County Jail. I believe the state intended to ask for a continuance based on the lab report.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. As you've been aware, we've had some issues with that GLE. I was able to get Mr. Caroline on the phone about a variety of cases that, really 22 cases that I know that he's been wanting to move forward, we've been wanting to go forward. This specific one is getting tested and it will be ready for next cycle. And so for Mr. Osley, we would just request a continuance with the idea that it would be trial next cycle.
Okay, let's continue the trial next time. Do we need probation anymore today?
No, Your Honor, everybody else is not going to be present in the courtroom.
Thank you so much, probation. All right, thank you.
Yamara Nicole Ramirez.
Mr.